morning at Studio 1A began like any other. Al Roker had just wrapped up the weather forecast and was preparing for a celebrity interview, one that should have been warm and celebratory. His guest was none other than Chaka Khan, the 10-time Grammy winner and queen of funk, there to promote her new memoir. Her team had specifically requested Al, trusting his conversational style to bring out the personal side of her story. When she walked onto the set, dressed in a flowing purple caftan and wearing her signature curls, the audience applauded warmly. "Good morning. I'm Al Roker, and we're here with the incomparable Chaka Khan," he said with a bright smile. "Thank you for having me, Al. It's always a pleasure," she replied graciously. At first, everything went smoothly. Al asked about her childhood in Chicago, her days with Rufus, and her inspiration for writing the memoir. Chaka spoke with warmth, sharing stories of her rise to fame and the challenges she faced as a black woman in the 1970s music industry. But then the interview turned. "Your book really opens up about difficult periods in your life," Al said carefully. "You write extensively about your struggles with addiction and how that affected your family relationships." Chaka nodded, her tone shifting. "I felt it was important to be honest. Too many people, especially in our community, suffer in silence. If my story can help someone else find their way to recovery, then sharing those painful memories is worth it." Al acknowledged her courage before pivoting. "And speaking of courage, you've never been shy about criticizing the music industry. In your book, you're quite critical of how record labels treated artists, particularly artists of color." "Absolutely," Chaka said, her voice rising with passion. "The exploitation was systemic. They signed us, made millions, and left us with pennies. Too many brilliant artists were destroyed by contracts that were nothing short of modern-day slavery." Al hesitated. "That's a very strong comparison. Slavery? It's the truth," Chaka shot back. "When you sign away your publishing rights for nothing, when you're forced to record music you hate, when you lose all control over your vision, what would you call it?" "I understand your frustration," Al replied cautiously. "But don't you think comparing contracts to slavery might be a bit extreme?" The temperature in the studio seemed to drop. Chaka's eyes narrowed. "Extreme? With all due respect, Al, you've spent your career in television. You've never had your culture appropriated, your royalties stolen, your talent exploited. You've never been treated like a commodity." "I'm not minimizing your experience," Al insisted. "I just think there might be better ways to describe unfair business practices." "Better for who?" Chaka demanded, her voice cutting through the room. "Better for your comfortable morning show audience who don't want to hear the ugly truths about where their favorite music comes from." The studio went silent. Even the camera crew exchanged worried glances. "I think we're getting a little off track," Al tried, attempting to steer the conversation back. "Let's talk about your new music." "Don't you dare change the subject," Chaka interrupted, pointing a finger at him. "You questioned my words. Now you want to talk about appropriate?" "Appropriate is telling the truth about how black artists were exploited. Pretending otherwise is ignorance." Al's composure began to crack. "This is a morning show. Our viewers tune in for uplifting content, not lectures about systemic oppression." Chaka's voice thundered. "You think speaking truth is lecturing? This is the problem, Al. The moment a black woman gets passionate about injustice, we're called angry. Too much, inappropriate." "That's not what I meant," Al protested weakly. "Then what did you mean?" she fired back, leaning in. "Because it sounds like you're more worried about your viewers' comfort than actually hearing me." Al flushed. "I've been doing this for over 30 years. I've interviewed thousands of people. I know how to conduct a respectful interview." "Do you?" Chaka asked sharply. "Because right now it feels like you're policing my language to make it palatable." "That's not respect, Al, that's control." The producers gestured frantically behind the cameras, but the two were locked in. "I'm not controlling anything," Al insisted. "But when you throw around inflammatory comparisons, it makes meaningful dialogue impossible." "Inflammatory?" Chaka snapped. "The truth is inflammatory? Losing millions, watching executives steal songs, being forced to pay to perform my own music, that's inflammatory?" "I'm talking about the way you present it," Al pushed back, but his voice cracked. "There's a difference between sharing your story and making broad generalizations about the industry." Chaka laughed coldly. "Generalizations? Do you know how many of my peers died broke while labels kept getting rich? That's not a generalization. That's a pattern. I sympathize with that, Al said, leaning back. But making sweeping statements on live TV without nuance is irresponsible. The word hung like a bomb. Irresponsible? Chaka repeated, her tone like steel. What's irresponsible is sitting in your comfortable chair, telling me it's irresponsible to speak about what I lived through. Al bristled. You don't know what I've faced. I've been targeted with racism, harassment, even death threats. Then you should understand, Chaka snapped. Instead, you're doing their work by trying to silence me. I'm not silencing anyone. Al fired back, his voice rising to match hers. But maybe a morning show isn't the right place for a political manifesto. Chaka's voice erupted like thunder. Talking about my life is a political manifesto? The moment we speak truth, we're called political. Inappropriate, too much. You just proved my point. The tension was unbearable. Cameras rolled as if no one dared cut away. Al rubbed his face in frustration. I wanted to celebrate your career, your book, your music. Instead, we're arguing about politics. Our viewers didn't sign up for this. Your viewers, Chaka corrected, dripping with disdain. The ones you protect from reality. God forbid they think about injustice before their morning coffee, Al snapped. That's unfair. We cover serious issues all the time. Safe issues, Chaka countered. Sanitized issues you can control. But when I speak the raw truth, suddenly it's too much. Al finally lost his cool. You came here to promote a book, and instead you've turned this into a personal attack on me and the show. Chaka stood up abruptly, her chair rolling back. You're damn right I'm angry. 50 years in this business, and I still have to fight for my right to speak my truth. Nobody tells me what platform is right for me. Not Johnny Carson, not Oprah, and certainly not you. Television interviews aren't the right platform for this kind of confrontation. Al insisted, his pride refusing to yield. Chaka's fury ignited. You think I'm here to stir controversy for fun? This is my reality. My decades of pain dismissed as inappropriate for your precious show. She tore off her microphone, her hands shaking. You want your sanitized version of black success? You can have it without me. Chaka, please, Al begged. Let's find some common ground. The common ground is gone, she said coldly. It disappeared the moment you decided my truth was too uncomfortable. Al's voice softened. I do respect you. Your talent, your contributions, your strength. Chaka stopped at the edge of the set and turned. You respect the version of me that fits in your neat little box. The grateful entertainer who smiles and makes your viewers feel good. But the real me? The woman who refuses to sugarcoat? That's too much for you. That's not true, Al said weakly. It's completely true, Chaka replied. And the worst part? You don't even realize you're doing it. You've been conditioned to expect black women to perform gratitude and softness. But when we show up with fire and truth, you can't handle it. The room was silent, every crew member frozen. I hope your audience enjoys their comfortable morning, Chaka said icily. But don't book another black artist if you expect us to perform for your comfort. Some of us have too much self-respect. With regal composure, she walked out. Al stood frozen, flushed, his voice barely steady. Chaka, wait, he called after her. But she didn't stop. He turned back to the cameras. We'll be right back, he muttered. But the storm had already hit, and this time, not even America's favorite weatherman could predict or control it.